Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, G.
Good morning.
God, it's Friday.
TGIF.
Your favorite day of the week.
You should know that. And Adefemi Akinsoya should know that as well. My favorite day of the week. Welcome, our international correspondent. You know how I love to call you international correspondent. It gives me joy. Good morning, Rufy on
She's
fire.
at home now. She's local.
She's still international correspondent. This woman can fly to Turkey, can fly to like
in less than 24 hours.
50 seconds, and she'll be on point, really. She'll be dressing up. Can I reveal your secret?
Tell them.
She'll dress up in the aircraft.
In the aircraft, in the airport
her makeup,
toilet.
She'll do makeup at the airport.
From Turkey to
everywhere.
France to London to US.
Now
you Biko.
Now you Biko. After you. Now who? Good morning, Rufy on fire.
Service dedication and service on parallel. Oji.
Let's shake the table today. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Activist Omoyele Sowore, a former presidential candidate who was arrested for calling the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, an illegal IGP, was granted bail on Thursday by the Federal High Court in Abuja in the sum of 10 million naira, with one surety. The presiding judge in the case also ordered Sowore to deposit his international passport with the court registrar and ruled that the surety must have verified landed property in the Federal Capital Territory. Well, on Wednesday, Sowore rejected the bail conditions presented to him, describing them as frivolous. Let's take a look.
The police came, charged me for offenses that were contrary to the police service rules 367, which says that no police officer should use the police office to carry out personal vendetta. That's pretty much how that was described. But the IG of police, the illegal IG of police, I'm repeating it here again today, Kayode Egbetokun, is doing just that. I rejected the administrative bail of the police because I cannot, in good conscience, continue to participate in illegality. The courts have made it very clear that the police have no right to grant administrative bail that asks for civil servants to own, first and foremost, 100 million naira houses, which is a crime. That's corruption. To stand bail for me, who is an employer of labor, a level 17 officer in the civil service, is a permanent secretary who is politically appointed by the president. So you expect such a person to come and stand surety for Sowore? I'm not being arrogant and I'm not bragging. But, you know, in 1992, when I was a student leader, Tinubu was a senator. And I was more powerful than him in the Nigerian society.
People said Tinubu has suffered. Why? Somebody said, what has Tinubu got to do with this one now again? Why bring him in? But obviously, this whole conversation has sparked a debate online. I believe that, you know, the AGF has maintained that the IGP is legal because his tenure was extended. But obviously, you know, people will question this sort of detention tactics by this administration especially. We have taken a lot of stories on what's trending regarding just people's comments. He said IGP is illegal, now he's in detention, he has to, you know, bring out 10 million naira. Well, in another development, Nigeria's former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, has reacted to the arrest of Professor Usman Yusuf, a former Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, who was arrested on Wednesday by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for alleged corruption involving budget inflation to the tune of 3.7 billion naira and awarding contracts to family members. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Kuje deferred his arraignment to February 3rd, 2025. Let's take Atiku Abubakar's tweet. Atiku wrote, "When I made the clarion call that Tinubu and the APC were devoting their energies to the systematic harassment, intimidation, and dismantling of the opposition, all in service of their grand design for a one-party autocracy, I became the the target of vicious attacks. The arrest and baseless persecution of Omoyele Sowore is the latest chapter in this unrelenting campaign. Now they have seen fit to add Professor Usman Yusuf, an outspoken critic of this administration, into their grim roster. At the pace they are going, it seems they may soon find themselves contending with the incarceration of every one of us. And that is the actual rhetoric Rufai online. I'll take a comment following Atiku Abubakar's tweet. Sanusi wrote, "The arrest of Professor Usman Yusuf, a staunch critic of Tinubu, may be viewed as a political witch hunt to silence dissent. Also, recent arrests of figures like Shehu Mahdi, Rotimi, and Omoyele Sowore for government criticism raise concerns about a shrinking democratic space in Nigeria." Thought it was important to highlight that.
No, it does raise a lot of concerns, and it's quite very shocking. We don't even know why he was picked up in the front of his family. For what reason, we don't know. I know prior to this time, there was a
Usman.
Yeah,
Yusuf,
Usman, talking about Usman. Yeah. Prior to this time, some media I saw online was trying to, as much as possible, to make allusion to the fact that, okay, there was any charge, but that was a while back, so that matter has not been broached again. So why is arrest at this point in time? Also, the case of, Mahdi Shehu, they said because he posted a video that is not true. As the police, and I repeat, as security agencies, not said or posted things that are untrue in this country?
That's the question a lot of people are asking.
This high-handedness, and because they said he posted videos that were not true when we were talking about friends trying to set up a base here. In this day and age, yes, you're supposed to verify, but there are people too that post things that it's thought that they've checked up and it's been shown not to be corresponding to what is happening at that point in time.
Yes.
So the DSS now holding him on. But what about the people that fomented trouble? I keep referring to Lagos here. What about people that threatened ethnic bigotry in Lagos against the Igbos? The DSS, we never heard they picked them up. It was some people that talk about Mama Chukudi. We never hear they pick them up. In fact, the police came out to defend them. So this selective justice, and for what Sowore is saying, he's making a very valid point. Good point. They are saying he should have surety by PAMSEC, government official, level 16, level 17, with about 100 million. So that's an invitation to corruption in a country where you pay 70,000 minimum wage.
Correct.
So what is going on here? And concerning also the points of the IG, I think what I'm just saying is, I'm not saying they've not put in the law, they've not fashioned the law in such a way that he can use full tenure of 4 years. But there are also civil service laws that a lot of people expect that once you push up the ladder, other people will come after you. So, and like I asked today, if the IG in good conscience is saying, okay, my tenure is 4 years, if he was in the shoes of the DIGs now, that they think they will naturally fall in line, lots of Frank Obama, a couple of other DIGs.
Yes.
And he saw he's seen because of tenure elongation, he's never going to be IG. How would he feel? It's just a question of conscience I'm asking. Yeah. How would he personally himself feel? Yeah. And this is the bone of contention. Although the police forces, the police spokesmen have come out to clarify that his tenure has been elongated. Yes. We've taken that. Correct. But how will he feel if he's been put in that position? Correct. That's just what I'm asking. Correct.
Dr. Bati, Ayo made the point yesterday about the overhaul of the Cybercrime Act. Only yesterday, we took the story of Charles and Muyiwa Adejobi had said something about, it's because Charles accused the IG of budget padding. And what the comment Rufai made about, have people not lied? People in public office, have they not lied? And have they not posted these things online? If they believe it is a lie, why detain these individuals for so long? Charge them to court and, have a better process instead of it seeming like some sort of clampdown.
Okay, every accused person has the right under the Constitution to fair hearing. Sections 35 and 36. Where you abuse the rights of persons to fair hearing, yes, the public can legitimately complain.
Yes.
As for the issue about the Cybercrime Act, I said, where there have been abuses, you can push for amendment. But to say in an illiterate manner that it should be abolished, that's not how the process works. Because you cannot abolish a law by fiat. It will still have to go through a legislative process. To the main issues this morning. One, Sowore is right. You recall that when you first brought this Sowore matter, I said he was right in the sense that he said, you know, he will not allow the administrative bail by the police. And I quoted Dasuki versus DGSSS, a 2020 case determined per ADA JCA, in which he stated exactly the same thing that Sowore has repeated. So Sowore must have been properly advised by his lawyers. And I quoted Femi Falana SAN, who had also pushed that line. But the court bail is superior to the administrative bail. No, now he has been given a bail, 10 million and all of that. Well, the matter is before the court, as it were. As for the Attorney General of the Federation, which I keep saying is the only position that is recognized in the Constitution of Nigeria, apart from the position of special advisors, 22 special advisors that the president is constitutionally allowed to employ. Now, what the Attorney General of the Federation, who is the chief law officer of the Federation, is saying, is that the position of Egbetokun is lawful and legal. And he based his position on Section 7 sub 6 of the Police Act as amended. What the civil service rule says is that, you know, you must retire if you get to the age of 60 or you have done 35 years in service, whichever comes first. But in this particular case, the chief law officer of the Federation says is validly there in the light of the amendment to Section 7 sub 6 of the Police Act. So it's not a thing to be emotional about. You know, that's the thing about that. And then what was the other story about Professor Usman Yusuf? Usman Yusuf. Professor Usman Yusuf is a noted critic of this government.
Yes.
However, in 2019, he was relieved of his position as the Executive Secretary of the NHIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme, the Professor of Hematology and Oncology. At that time, the Federal Ministry of Information was investigating something about expenditures of about 919 million. And at the end of it, they recommended to the Buhari administration that he should be relieved of his position. And that was what happened. Now, in 2018, EFCC is saying a petition had been submitted against him in terms of the management of funds. Now, EFCC in 2025 is now going after him. Now, the question has been raised, why now?
Why now?
Well, the thing is that in law, there is no statute of limitation on fraud in Nigeria. So if you commit fraud 50, 20 years ago, they can come out after you in the future. However, the question is about why now, which common sense would raise those questions. Is he now being arrested because he's very critical of government, particularly on the issue of banditry and insurgency and the rights of the people of the North?
Absolutely.
Is he being targeted because he's vocal? But as to the legality of the process, you know, the EFCC has made it very clear that he'll be arraigned on February 3. What are they accusing him of? Abuse of process, violation of contracts, 4 billion naira that they want explained. You know, we can only insist again, as in the case of Sowore, that his rights must be respected. Fair hearing must be respected. And if he's taken to court, all his rights must be respected. He must be given the opportunity to defend himself. As for Atiku Abubakar, saying this is persecution, harassment of Sowore and Professor Yusuf, what do you expect the Waziri Adamawa to say? He has to worry more also about the implosion within the PDP.
Within his party. All right.
Because the party is imploding, and some people say Waziri Adamawa is part of the problem. So instead of criticizing the outsider, he should lead the process of removing the log in the eyes of the PDP.
All right. Well said, Dr. Abati. Remove the log in your eye before you go and touch the speck in others. Well, all right. We'll take another story now. More videos have emerged from the Meeting Tax Symposium on Strengthening Democracy in Nigeria, which had in attendance several Nigerian stakeholders, including Atiku Abubakar and El-Rufai. Well, in this video, Rotimi Amaechi, a former transport minister, criticized political power struggles, accusing leaders, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of using unethical tactics to stay in power. Atiku Abubakar, in response, echoed Amaechi's comments by sharing a personal experience on the dynamics of crowd mobilization. Let's take a look.
Nobody has power and will give it to you. Nobody, not even me. Yes, you do. If you want a pastor as president, can get one. The politician is there in Nigeria to steal, to maim, to kill, to remain in power. If you think Tinubu will give it to you, you are wasting your time. So when we speak, we forget history. And the final example is when we are pursuing, the APC was registered, and I was scared that, look, they may rig us out. So I got the party to agree that we will carry out a demonstration. They agreed that we will carry out a demonstration. We assembled at, where is that parade ground? Eagle Square. We released some money to go and bring women and all that. See the women gathered. Guess what they are wearing? Jonathan for president. God bless you.
That is borrowed from Rivers. Because when Odili was in office as a governor, we went on a rally. The entire stadium was filled to capacity. But before we could finish the rally, everybody had left. We were left alone. Then I asked what happened. He said they were paid for only 2 hours.
Rufai, I want to use your word, Nigeria, na cruise. I mean, this is the political system. Femi, I'd like your comment, but let me take these tweets first. This is from Ekuv, who wrote, Rotimi Amaechi's frustration may resonate with many, but we must remember that he, like others, has been part of the very system that has kept Nigerians in this struggle. When he claims politicians are there to steal, kill, and destroy, he's describing a system he himself was deeply entrenched in. During his tenure, what did he actually do for the people of Nigeria and his state? What real progress was made under his leadership? If he truly believes in change, why didn't he deliver it when he had the power to do so? Another Twitter user, High Chief, wrote, Rotimi Amaechi has been consistent about Nigerians being too afraid to have a face-off with our politicians. He has always said that the day we all rise, that's the day we'll get our country back. And I guess this person went further to talk about how we missed our chances in this country. Go ahead with selecting great leaders.
Okay, so I think ultimately it's unfair that a politician or someone who has left power can now not criticize, because then people can say, well, you, as we've heard in those tweets, well, you were also a part of that system. But I would like to hear if he had in fact stolen or killed anybody. That's what I'd like to hear, if that's really the conversation here. That being said, the thing that jumped out at me is that he's speaking very, very serious about very serious things. And I didn't like the fact that people were laughing. I know they weren't laughing at him, they're just laughing at, as you guys say, Nigeria being a cruise. But this is very, very sad and a very serious situation here. But yes, he is a politician who has had extensive power at the state and at the federal level. And I think there is still some legitimate questions that can be raised. Would you say this if you were still in power? Would you have this criticism about the state of politics in Nigeria if you still were at the helm of power as you've had previously? But that doesn't mean that the points that he is making is invalid, because he's making very valid points here. But sometimes the messenger can be crowded, the message can be overshadowed by the messenger. So
yeah, absolutely. But you know, before I come to both of you, I'd like to tie in this other story so you all can comment on it. Well, in the same vein, a former governor of Osun State, BC Akonde, has claimed that the 2022 EndSARS protests were orchestrated by obedience to prevent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from becoming president. Akonde alleged that the movement was not genuinely about ending police brutality, but was a strategic political play to thwart Tinubu's political career. Let's take a look.
EndSARS was designed to be the end of Tinubu. Can you expatiate?
Those behind the EndSARS knew that's what they were doing.
Who were those behind it?
The obedience.
Were behind the EndSARS?
Yes, it was manufactured from America. And so brought in just to stop him.
But who are the obedience?
I said the obedience.
So who are the obedience? So who are the obedience?
The obedience came from America to do the EndSARS, and later became a movement to form a party, and they couldn't form a party and join whichever party.
You know, I thought obedience was tied to Peter Obi.
Well, maybe Obi's party, I don't know. Maybe Obi's movement, I don't know. But the obedience were behind the EndSARS.
The obedience are behind the EndSARS. The EndSARS movement.
I think he said EndSARS.
Oh,
if you were listening properly.
Dr. Mati, let me just give you the floor here. Can you respond to some of these comments that will come to you?
Chief Bisi Akonde, former APC chairman, former governor of Osun State, now alleging that is the obedient movement that was behind the EndSARS. Well, when you allege, you prove.
You must prove.
That's the principle. But in that interview, the journalist interviewing him, his name is Edmond Obilo. Yeah. Right. Edmond didn't ask him, does he have any proof? So it's not enough to just make an allegation that it's obedience that were behind EndSARS. We were all here. We all analyzed hashtag EndSARS. It was a protest by Nigerian youths, and it didn't have a tag of obedience, who were saying that police brutality must end. And part of their demands included improving the conditions, the welfare of policemen. Absolutely. The matter may have gone out of hand, but I think it will amount to unnecessary labeling and persecution to say that, oh, it was a political thing. But of course, Chief Bisi Akonde is an ally of President Tinubu. The summum bonum of what he was saying is that, oh, people are fighting Tinubu, and each time they fail him, they failed. Each time they fight him, they fail. Yeah. I don't think that, you know, the allegation is standing on terra fauna. It's not strong enough. Right. The other issue, Rotimi Amaechi, that you said was speaking, and you showed the video. Now, if you look at that event, conference, seminar, whatever, on strengthening democracy in Nigeria, that was the same place where Atiku Abubakar made the statement. That was the same place where Nasir Rufai made the statement, and then Rotimi Amaechi, a congregation of yesterday's people. And then the question that you ask, I once wrote an article about yesterday's men. You know, people are very supportive of government when they are in government. Yeah. Now, once they leave government, they become critics. They become, very articulate about what is wrong in government. That is why the question is, if they are back in government, the moral question is, would they say the same thing? But as for what Governor, former Minister Rotimi Amaechi said, I think he's on point to look at the flip side. This is a man who started his career as a back career for Dr. Peter Odili as a PA who was running errands. I think he became chairman of a local government. He became a speaker of the House of Assembly. He became governor. He became minister. So he has had a long career and a rich career in politics. So you should know that no politician would hold power and willingly give it to you. The only person who has done that in this country, who willingly relinquish power, is President Goodluck Jonathan, who is a Christian, who is a man of God, who is a man of conscience. No other leader that we have seen around here will come and say, well, I don't want you to shed blood. Yes. Come and take power from me. Definitely, in politics, it's about strategy. Right. The man with the better strategy wins. It's not everybody that will come and say, oh, if the people have spoken, I will give you power. I agree with him. I don't think President Tinubu and his strategies will fold their arms and say, Atiku wants power, let us give it to him. Peter Obi wants power, let us allow him. No, it's only people who still believe in Christian values, like President Jonathan, who do that.
All right. Rufy, on fire. Start with the story.
President Jonathan didn't willingly give up power. They beat him in an election, fair and square. They beat him. They beat him. They beat him. They beat him in an election. So let's not say, what did he willingly give up power? He didn't try. Didn't the PDP try to suppress opposition through that time? Because we don't want to tell all the stories here, Dr. Abati. Oh, yeah. I beg, let's just leave that one.
Table shaker.
Yeah, I will shake the table, you know me. He was beaten. He tried everything. It didn't work.
But he didn't rig the election.
The vote he got. Should we start, Dr. Abati? Please, don't shake this table. We overshake it.
Let's get
you know me.
For the shake table.
So real quickly.
Let me saving her.
Really quickly, as we're saying, as regards what Amaechi said, like you said rightly, Dr. Abati, the truth is all politicians play this trick.
Yes.
It's all a trick.
Yes.
Current President Tinubu, sometimes if I want to enjoy myself in the afternoon and I'm less busy, I go and read President Tinubu's old tweets. You will see the way he was talking there. This government is bad. They can't fix security. It's the work of the commander-in-chief to fix security. Today, President Tinubu can't do all the things he said in his tweets. So Mr. Amaechi too is saying all of this because he's no longer in power. You see, it's always sweet when they are not in power. Yes. Just like Mr. El-Rufai was saying yesterday. But when they are in power, it's a different ballgame entirely. But I think the part that I always lose here is the part of what is in it for Nigerians. We feel that politicians cannot completely do the bidding of Nigerians except we have a strong citizenship class that forces them to be accountable, which the media, civil society, and other parameters must rise up and do their work. So we must call on the people to do what is right.
Yes.
Secondly, as regards Baba Akonde knows what he's doing, with due respect. What he's doing is called revisionism. And it's a deliberate attempt to gaslight people. Since the day EndSARS happened, we've had many people that are deliberately gaslighting people to change the story of EndSARS. You remember how some people said from nobody died to one person died, to we hearing stories of mass burial, to them telling us that no, that mass burial is not from a Lekki toll gate, it's from other parts of Lagos when it happened. So there's been a constant attempt, and that's why we must stick to the truth. He also said many things, Oji. He said, with due respect, he said, all of you that are crying that he's been power in Nigeria is because you are lazy. That's what he said. With due respect, Baba Akonde, that's not true. The economy is bad. People are suffering. He said, oh, I will put 1 seed of corn into the ground. You give me 1,000 seed in 3 months. In that 3 months, Baba Akonde, what will people be eating? Is it air? He said, even Edmond Obilo, my friend and my former colleague, he said, you should come and take tomato in his farm in Elarogun and planting everything. So, Baba Akonde, with due respect, is it that tomato that all of us suffering and hungry Nigerians are going to eat?
Right.
Baba Akonde, Tinubu is your man, but let's try to state the truth at all times.
All right.
That interview was not a good one.
All right. We shall always speak truth to power here on this table. Let's head over to Kenya now, where the country's former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, has urged African leaders to stop lamenting over President Donald Trump's decision to freeze foreign aid, calling it a wake-up call for self-reliance. Let's take a look.
I saw some people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves.
I think he is on point. Why are you crying? I actually believe it. But this has been, online since Tuesday. He spoke at the East African Region Global Health Summit in Mombasa. Yes. But I thought that his statement there was quite apt. The fact that, we have to start thinking about how we can be self-reliant as Africans really quickly.
Valid point,
Yes.
absolutely. I mean, earlier this week, we do know that President Trump had come with this whole freezing of foreign and federal assets. And so that's why it reverberated around the world. And this is what we're talking about when we say what this Trump presidency means for Africa, means for the developing world. I do agree with the former Kenyan president. I do think that sometimes this is also an example of the hypocrisy. When you were president, what were your relations like when it comes to foreign aid? Did you reject them because you wanted to be an example of this self-sufficiency that you're talking about? Had this been Mahama saying that, I would accept it a bit more, because the first time John Mahama was president of Ghana, he made it very clear that when it came to the IMF, Ghana were going to go it alone. Whether or not that was the right decision, he did use his mantle at that time to talk about how he wanted his country to be independent of International Monetary Fund and different institutions like that. So
I mean, I did actually appreciate his comments, really. I mean, just talking about even all of the happenings around with Donald Trump, talking about even yesterday when he gave that statement about the helicopter crash, that broke my heart. Talking about DI and all of that,
are not as mentally agile, who were working as air traffic controllers.
Right.
Just things that are completely unfounded.
Unfounded.
He hasn't given.
I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen, because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. My administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine?
It's just an example of the danger that is associated with the Trump presidency.
I mean, some of the things Trump has done is like, withdrawing the HIV treatment, and of course the immigration, but the HIV treatment in Africa. And I think that's about what he was referring to as well in there. But I mean, good point. Africa, we have to find a way to be self-reliant, really. Well, before we end what's trending today, let's highlight Maxwell Chikunbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor who developed one of the world's first self-powering vehicles and motorbikes that runs on radio waves in our Good News report. A 44-year-old Maxwell Chikunbutso is the founder of Safe Technologies and has had a spell of groundbreaking innovations despite facing challenges in securing support for his work in Zimbabwe. Chikunbutso has continued to push technological boundaries, gaining international attention for his inventions and renewable energy and wireless power solutions, while during a courtesy visit to President Emerson Mnangagwa on Tuesday. He showcased his self-sustaining vehicles and motorbikes. The president praised the innovation, calling it proof that Zimbabweans can lead technological advancement. Let's take a look.
He's so gifted, you won't believe it. When he first came to talk to me, I thought he had didn't they hold the wires in his head, but I now know that it's all connected. So they wanted to arrest him for changing physics.
Yes. Even when we tried to file a patent, they said we are violating the natural laws of physics. So it's not an industrial applicable. We decided to take the trade secret route after that. So with this car, you can also use it to power your house. It is a moving generator. When you drive from work back to your home, you can connect your power cable, then you can power your house. It gives you 15 kilowatts power to power your house.
Brilliant young man. I think this is such a great innovation. I was reading comments online. People were saying, please, guys, hide this man from those oil moguls because they might, want to eliminate him because of his genius. But, the president has said that he's going to empower him. And I think that, like I said, Africa is the frontier, as always. Well, all right. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.